Now, the South African government has been under massive scrutiny for its approach in securing the COVID-19 vaccine. It's now made international headlines, with the UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock saying a new variant of the coronavirus identified in South Africa is more of a risk than that in the UK. For more on this, let's bring in our UK correspondent, Olly Barratt. Olly, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Your Health Secretary concerned about the SA variant of the COVID-19. Indeed, that's perhaps why the restrictions on South Africans in particular have been tightened. What exactly informed his anxiety of the South African variant?
Yes, Matt Hancock saying today that he is incredibly worried about what he describes as the South African variant, and he says exactly as you say that that's why the UK took that action on travel restrictions and so forth. And he says this is a very, very significant problem. Talking about the South African variant, he says that he spoke to his South African opposite number over Christmas, he says. And he says also that this idea that's been pointed out before by the UK government, that one of the reasons the UK knows that it has a problem with its new variant and South Africa knows that there is a problem with its new variant, is that both these two countries, South Africa and the UK, have very good genomic sequencing. They have that scientific capability to spot these new strains in the first place. The implication from the UK, therefore, is that there may be some other countries that have particularly fast-spreading outbreaks at the moment that just haven't spotted a new variant, or perhaps even the South African or the British variant. But the UK also saying, again praising the South African scientific capability here, but also the transparency and openness which the UK has praised before when it comes to South Africa sharing information about this new variant.
Olly, what's more worrying for South Africans at home as we search to secure this vaccine are further reports coming out of the UK, quoting UK officials, saying that they do not believe that vaccines will work on the South African new variant in the UK. What have you heard?
What they're actually saying is that they're not sure that the vaccines might work on the South African variant, and that studies are going on as we speak to try and work out if that might be the case. There is another small area for optimism as well. UK scientists that have said that also say that if, and it's a big if the South African variant were resistant to the vaccines that are being rolled out in the UK at the moment, that they think it would only take 6 to 8 weeks or so to tweak the vaccines that we already have to make them effective against that South African strain. So certainly grounds for caution, but the scientists not going so far yet as to say that the South African variant would be able to avoid the vaccines that are currently being rolled out today, because today, of course, we had the Oxford AstraZeneca jab going into use in the UK for the first time, and Pfizer-BioNTech has been being rolled out here for some time already.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you can tell us a little more about that, given the fact that South Africa is eyeing the Zeneca vaccine, seem to be one of the more suitable ones if that takes place in South Africa.
Yes, the Oxford AstraZeneca jab is cheap, it is easy to manufacture, it's easy to store, it's easy to distribute. It's therefore easier to get into more arms more quickly, and the UK has really high hopes for the Oxford vaccine, not just here but also around the country. And part of the agreement that was reached between Oxford and AstraZeneca with the backing of the UK government was to ensure that it was produced at cost, so it could be distributed around the world to developing and some poorer countries, as well as the major economies in Africa and Europe as well. And it is going into people's arms. The UK has 500,000 doses immediately, going up to around 1 million doses by the end of the week. 100 million in total on order just of the Oxford AstraZeneca jab alone. And AstraZeneca is saying that they believe they can get up to production pretty quickly for the UK of 2 million doses a week. And the UK is saying, look, if you can get us 2 million doses a week, we will do our very best to get them into people's arms at exactly that speed.
Finally, Olly, before I let you go, we're debating at the moment different camps talking about our ability to really inoculate millions of people in this country. 40 million by the end of the year is one ambitious target that the Health Department mentioned. I'm wondering, just to assess that against the inoculation capabilities in the UK, how fast is that going, and are people convinced?
There are certainly concerns about whether it's going fast enough. Boris Johnson has set a target of spring next year, so we're looking at March or April to have the most vulnerable people vaccinated, to the point where you might start being able to reduce some of the restrictions on the British economy. So we're really looking at many millions of people having been vaccinated in the next 2 or 3 months. That's the kind of time frame we're looking at here in the UK, and we should, by the way, get more detail on that later on, because Boris Johnson will address the nation in about 3 hours' time from now. We expect him to announce further lockdown measures so the UK can get on top of its new variant. The other thing that, crucially, many of his own MPs want him to set out in quite some detail is exactly that timeline to get the most vulnerable people vaccinated so that life can return to something like normality.
All right, Olly Barratt, we'll let you get on that. Thanks very much indeed. Olly